this is important that we record it, especially because today we're dealing with love, right? And this is perfect because yesterday we released the relationships the way they were up to that point. And now we have a clean slate to create a new way of being. And remember, this is nothing about anybody else, because when we change, everything changes. So we don't need to change, fix, or expect anything from anybody except for what we decide that we want, that we are having, and how we are going to approach it. So when we in love, the whole point of life that I figured, that is why we're here, is to literally learn and experience unconditional love. It's everything, in my opinion. And like I said before, don't believe a word I say. Notice if it resonates with you. You might be like, nah, that doesn't work for me. So if it doesn't, toss it out. So for me, ultimately, everything comes down to love. Everything. Everything is connected, whether we think it is or it isn't. Everything has threads that connect us to each other, to the emotions, to everything that exists. There is a connection. Even the furniture in your house is something that we resonated with. So if you want to upgrade to a better home, right, we have to just resonate now to the home that we'd like. And how do you do that? Well, go visit larger homes if you want a larger home, or go visit smaller homes, or whatever the qualities you are looking for in your new home. Start looking at magazines, start going to Pinterest and looking and looking at pictures. Those pictures, remember we talked about how the brain operates in pictures. It doesn't operate in words or in glyphs, right? Pictures are the preferred way of communication with your brain. That is why the vision boards work so well for so many people. When there's no blockages, we have to clear. I don't know why my nose. I wear a mask that it's called silent mode, and it connects my speakers so I can hear my meditations. But I wear it all night, and I think that last night I put it on so tight, my nose is like itching. I'm like, what is wrong? It was so like, so I wouldn't let any light in through my eyes so I could sleep. Anyway, so if you see me going like this, it's like this like uncontrollable itch. All right. So when we clear any blockages, because sometimes the vision boards are like affirmations. If we don't believe them, or if there's something saying, no, that's not gonna happen, or the little voice, it won't work. But when there's no resistance, no encumbrances, then we're able to attract those things to us. And then you'll notice how, if you do a vision board, if you've ever done it, some things will come rather quickly, some things rather slowly, and some things will never come. So the things that don't come, where are those blockages? Where is something in you that doesn't believe it at your core, right? So when we are alone, usually with ourselves, we have a tendency to become lonely because we are, by our nature, gregarious beings, right? We love groups, we love gatherings, most of us. Some people are loners, right? But some people are like their alone time. Like I love my alone time, but I am a gregarious person. If I'm alone too long, it's like it starts to get to me, right? I'll start talking more to my dog. I'll start talking to the walls. I'll start talking to myself. It's like having out loud conversations with myself because I am lacking that human contact. That's why I believe that I'm thriving here in Mexico with my parents, just spending time with them, even if they bicker, even if we argue. I have that human interaction that I crave. So for me, it's very enriching. So if you have somebody in your life that is wanting more from you, and you're like the kitty in Pepe Le Pew, or if you're Pepe Le Pew, right? Notice where you're being Pepe Le Pew. Notice where you're being the kitty, and it's like, just leave me alone. And it's like, how many relationships do we have that we're like putting up with, right? When our parents begin to age, when our kids are annoying, when our spouse is just like becomes a nag, where do we begin to put up with the relationship as opposed to thrive with that person and grow a relationship and expand it, right? So when we're putting up with someone, it's because we are wishing they were some way different than they are. So how can we release any expectation and begin to see the person at their core? So, for example, if we have a parent that is getting sick all the time and requiring your care and attention, it's like where can you start supplying the love for yourself and seeing that person at their core for who they really truly are, that you could begin to be a different energy with them? And what if you could decide to experiment and decide you're going to enjoy their company instead of put up with them? And every time you're with them, start looking for things about them that you could be grateful for, things that are the part of their being that you appreciate, and start focusing on those things and being present to those things, because what we focus on expands, right? So if we're focusing on putting up with someone and rolling our eyes at them, like I see myself doing that to my mom. Yesterday, I was on the phone on FaceTime with my daughter and my grandbaby, and I was going through some stuff. I was doing things. And in the moment, I thought of something that my mom had done, and I rolled my eyes. So my daughter thought I was rolling my eyes at them. So it's like, what are you rolling your eyes at? And I'm like, oh no, I just thought of something that your grandmother did that irritated me. She goes, Mom, you don't hide anything. And I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, well, that's a good thing about you. What you see is what you get. It's like, no filter too. So I just laughed. And then I went back and thought about it. I'm like, why was I irritated? And then I realized that what happens is that my parents do not look 82 and 83. My mom's 83 years old, does not look over 70. So when she acts like she's 83, I get annoyed because she's acting like someone in my mind that is incongruent with what she looks like. So there's a total jarring and a disconnect. It's like, why is she acting like this? So then I have to remind myself she's 80 freaking 3. And she's even a million times better than someone who would be 83. I know 83-year-olds that can't even speak with her clear tone. The voice starts to wobble, they start sounding old. And she sounds like she's 50. We sound alike. Her voice is perfectly clear. There's no signs of losing her wits at all. So then when she does something silly, it's like, why are you doing this? It's so irritating. Well, you're just being your age. And so where do I have to just be more accepting of this is it? Because also there's a part of me that is resisting them aging. Like I will talk about people that look old and my mom's just like, thank you for that. She feels like I'm talking about old people. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't count. You're in a breed apart. You guys do not look, act, think your age. And that's how I want to keep it. So for me, they're in a bubble that is ageless and they're going to be with me forever. Because if I spent 2 years thinking of how I was going to survive if my parents are no longer here. So the fear of me facing them not being here was just too much until I decided, okay, stop thinking about it because you're going to drive yourself crazy. Right? So we can go into all these ideas and then we're projecting things on these people that we love so much. But the irritation, start looking at what's irritating to you, because it could be you creating on 99.9% of the time. It's us creating that irritation. It's coming directly from us. So what if we could just remove that and start focusing on enjoyment, start focusing on appreciation, start focusing on looking at qualities that maybe they're hidden underneath their exterior, but they're there alive, and we can just look at them at a seed that we're going to start planting and growing and looking more at that. What would happen, right? And also, how would it be? How would your life be? And excuse me, I'm especially dry. Kim probably doesn't know I don't produce enough tears or saliva. So some days, especially upon waking, I'm like completely dry and my lips start to stick together. Great for a voiceover artist. That's a fantastic thing for a voiceover talent to experience. Anyway, so what would your life look like if you were to experience unconditional love? And unconditional means loving the person regardless of who they are, how they're showing up, how you're showing up, and forgetting the ifs in your sentences, right? I would love you if you behaved like this. I would do this if you did that. I would love you if you didn't do that, right? So we take the if out of our sentence and we can say, I will love you even if you do this. Even though this happens, even though you don't do this, I choose to love you. And that's especially helpful in the closest relationships that we have, because when we live together, there's things that happen that are normal, that we think they only happen to us, but they happen everywhere, right? The bickering, the nagging, the looking at tiny little things, the irritations, the little things of life that make up your life. So if you start adding all those together, then your life becomes a bunch of those little things, because people focus on the big things. I focus on the little things, the everyday things. It's like, how do I want to have my life every day with the little things, so that it's so rich and abundant and welcoming and loving, that when the big things come, we can deal with them, or we can enjoy them even more if they're fantastic things, right? So how can we focus on these things? I will love you even though this is irritating, because as we start loving others even though they're doing something that it's irritating to us, we begin to soften us, and those irritations will stop coming from us and projecting. Because sometimes we can't see that we're creating these situations. Right? So what part, and if you have this person irritating you and this person irritating you and this person irritating you, then notice who's the common denominator. Like, why is this person irritating you? And maybe they're not irritating another person, because there's that irritation that's coming from you, and we hired them to show us that irritation so we can deal with it, right? So now we fired everybody. And now if we notice something, we can just say, oh, I fired you from that position. You're no longer here to irritate me. And I will love you even though there are things that you do that I find irritating or that irritate me. Or better yet, I will love you. I love you even though you're reflecting to me my own irritation. Right? Like, even though you're a mirror of me and I'm not liking what I'm seeing, I will love you anyway. Right? So today we'll get ourselves in our river of unconditional love. And we will place ourselves. You can sit today in your river. You don't have to stand. You can just be floating, sitting down in the middle of a river. Go ahead and submerge yourself and feel that you can breathe underwater and allow that unconditional love to come and bathe you. Allow this unconditional filled water, structured water, to flow through you and structure the water in your body to reflect unconditional love. Deep cleansing breaths. Allow this water to erase any feelings or any part of yourself that you reject, dislike, or you get irritated or annoyed by, that you need to hire people to show it to you so you can handle it. What if you weren't irritated by yourself? What if you could love yourself unconditionally? I would love myself if I would look like this. I would love myself if I didn't have this quality. I would love myself if these wrinkles weren't here. I would love my thighs weren't too big. I would love my body if blah, 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 blah. What if you choose and decide today to love yourself the way you are, fully, completely, and lovingly? What if you chose to forgive yourself for all your shortcomings? That we sometimes feel like we're the only ones with shortcomings, right? What if we would forgive ourselves? Allow that love to wash away any bothersome part of ourselves. What if we would focus on our beautiful qualities that we have? What if we began to recognize our gifts? And open your arms for this. Start connecting to unconditional your own being. And I want you underneath the water so you can get your eyes washed away. Imagine your eyes getting washed right now and facing upstream today, allowing them to get washed away. Any way that you've chosen to see yourself like, any dysmorphia, because the way we see ourselves is not the way others see us. And you can prove this to yourself. You don't have to believe me. You can just prove this to yourself by asking people, how do you see me? What do you like about me? What makes you crazy about me? Hearing the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? You'll start to notice that the things that people see in you are usually more good things. And if they only see more bad things, consider firing them. What if your eyes would begin to be infused with unconditional love and kindness, so that when you look in the mirror at yourself, you start to look at your gifts and seeing yourself in a different light, and start appreciating the good things that you have. Because we've been conditioned to just assume the good things are there and say, okay, check, 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 check. Now let's fix the things that we have decided are wrong or bad. Right? Always become fixers. What if we didn't have to fix ourselves? What if we just focus on the amazing parts, and then they get so large that there's no room for us to focus on what we think should be fixed? What if it's all part of our godly perfection? What if you don't like that you get angry or frustrated? And what if that anger or frustration is just an indication for you that you're out of alignment? What if it's your thermometer, and when it shows up, you can be like, oh, thank you, frustration. Oh, thank you, anger. So I can look at what is causing me, or what am I allowing to get me out of alignment, that if I would just align myself properly, this anger, frustration, worry, fear would disappear. So what if we start looking at those things that we think are defects as aids and helpers? Our thermometer, or our gauge, our indicator of alignment, aligned or out of alignment, aligned or misaligned, right? Harmonious or in disharmony. What would love without condition feel to you? Where have you been taught and trained to love conditionally? Where have you been loved conditionally? Release the pain of that. Today, you're still facing upstream, allowing the pain, frustration, whatever feelings of disharmony to flow and release through your backside. And if you're feeling constricted inside or feel like you could hold more unconditional love within you, go ahead and start feeling your edges of your body from the inside and create a bigger opening. And now start feeling the edges of your first energetic body and open that pipe. It will go wider than your physical body. And keep adding those layers and widening the space, widening your container so you can fit in more and more and more unconditional I'm going to ask you to use your imagination and imagine that you open your eyes and you're inside, submerged in this river. Start seeing the sparkles. Look at the colors, how different they are. Start noticing the magic that surrounds you. Create that your focus. Focus on the beauty, the magic. Go into your heart center and feel love for these things. Feel gratitude for these things. You start to notice the colors take on a different quality and the things that surround you do too. back. And what if you could love your health the way it's showing up, no matter what? Stop fighting illness or disharmony in your body and embrace health and vitality. What part of your not being healthy is a cry from your soul asking for love and attention? What if you could fulfill those needs by loving yourself unconditionally? Now we're gonna move to our relationships. Remember, we hold the universe within us. All of our relationships are inside of us. Allow them to be imbued and infused with this beautiful, unconditional love. And ask, what would it take for me to receive this and allow the transformation to take place? To see yourself fully happy, feeling accomplished, successful, loving and fully loved. We allow this love to exist and grow within us unconditionally. Feel it taking hold and transforming every molecule in your being, every particle, every aspect of yourself, every bit of water, up to the last drop of water, getting structured into this new way of being and accepting and loving yourself first. Loving the good, the bad, and the ugly, and removing any kind of labeling and judgment, replacing it with, it's interesting. What is this aspect trying to show me, tell me, or create that will bring me more peace, love, health, wealth, and abundance? Today, imagine with me that you're standing up. And as you stand up in your river, you realize you've grown exponentially. You're taller. And the river becomes tiny, 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 barely covering your feet. And as you step off the river, you step onto a beautiful moss garden with beautiful green pillowy moss. And you decide to lie on this bed of beautiful moss, feeling how soft it feels. You lie down on your back and feel the sun warming you, activating the love that's been infused within you with its warmth. Feel the warmth. Feel the sun's rays flowing through you and activating, creating a sparkle within you. Cleansing breaths. When you're ready, wiggle your toes. Place yourself in your bubble of protection. Rubbing your palms. Shake, shake, shake. And when you're ready, come back. How are you feeling, Kim?
I'm feeling great. Very
Wonderful.
relaxed. Very relaxed.
Fantastic.
That was nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me just stop the recording so we can have a little chat.